Okay.
Anything you want.
All right, so let's go back. Let me just back up. When did you get introduced to the woman who would become your wife? When did you first meet her?
I met her
When you arrived?
when I know the family. I went to the family, not when I arrived. Nobody thought about families, about marriage. Nobody thought about it. Not me, anyway. I had a lot of competition.
Tell me about that.
I had a lot of competition.
Okay.
But I guess her father liked me.
When did you meet her?
I met her there.
Like you came to Bingner Michel probably, it sounds like in the summer of
like
45.
boy meets girl. I went to the movies. One time we went, but that was after we got married. We went to Salzburg on a honeymoon.
No, let's not get there.
Yeah.
Before, when you first met her.
We just met somehow,
Okay, so did you know you wanted to marry her?
What?
Did you know you wanted to marry her?
Yes, I knew I wanted to marry her. But I didn't have the guts to tell her I want to marry her.
Okay.
I think it's going to go on like that. But her father said, came a time, he said, because there were other boys who were after her. So her father says, I think it's time you should get married. So I agreed.
You agreed, so you asked her.
She never had a ring. She never got a ring, like you do here. My wife got the ring here in America when she gave me the first boy.
Okay. So,
she gave me the boy,
so it was her
went
father.
to the hospital, and I gave her the ring.
So it was her father who said, it's time.
Yes, father, it's just time to get married.
So what's the date of your, when did you get married?
I get married in September 10th, 1947.
Oh, so you dated for how long?
Huh?
How long did you date?
Not too long. But whatever time we were there, we date, You get up in the morning, she got up in the morning, you went to the movies,
So so you were in Bingner Michel a good year and a half.
Of course,
before you got married.
That's right.
So we're going to talk about a year and a half.
Yeah.
What you did before you got married.
Well, really nothing. My wife went, she joined Ort, and she went for
training.
For knitting, whatever. She got an award. I got the award. She graduated.
Okay.
I got the award framed.
You'll show me.
I'll show you.
Now this is before you got married or after?
Before I got married.
Okay.
Because after I got married, we had a baby soon,
Now.
and we were preparing for America.
Okay.
Yeah, but we were very busy with, everybody wanted to go to America, so we had to go through medical process.
Now that's already 1947. I'm gonna go. We're gonna go.
1946.
Okay. Prior to you getting married.
Yeah.
Did other people get married?
Yes, everybody get married, sure. Because the gown that she had went from one to another. It was one gown and everybody used it.
So what was it like to go, did you go to other people's weddings?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Maybe
I did, maybe I did not. I don't know.
Okay.
It's hard to say that.
No, that's okay.
But it's 70 years.
No problem. I don't remember yesterday sometimes.
That's right.
Do you remember if children were born? I'm trying to, between 45 and 47, prior to your wedding.
Yeah.
Do you remember children being born?
Children being born, yes.
Did you go to a bris?
Did I go to a bris? Maybe I did. Yeah, maybe I did.
Do you remember what it was like?
What it was like? A bris was just a bris, just nothing. Nothing elaborate. You have to.
You didn't have.
You didn't. It was just a bris.
Okay. Jewish holidays.
Yeah.
Like uh, Jewish New Year's or Passover, were they celebrated in the camp?
We celebrate. We did. Maybe we celebrate, maybe we had matzahs, maybe. I'm sure we had matzahs. Maybe we celebrate, whatever, you know.
If you don't have a memory of
No,
it,
no.
that's okay.
Also, my in-laws, they left before us, 6 months before us. They left for America. So that fell away, that part of entertainment
Fell away.
apart.
You said, because you showed me some pictures, Jewish police officers. So it sounds like you didn't have much structure. Now, you didn't do anything with black market yourself.
No, I knew they were doing it, but I didn't do anything.
Did you know anybody who was?
Do I know it?
No, okay.
Whatever it was,
You don't know.
it wasn't an important thing,
Okay.
because we had no value of anything. Nothing was valuable. Do you understand? You have to understand that we came out of these camps like children. Like 6 years of our lives were taken away. 6 years.
When you came out of the camp, when did you know, concentration camp, when did you feel free?
Free? Then I am free.
When did you know you were free?
I know when I am free. We were liberated on a Saturday afternoon. Because already before that, about 2 weeks before, we had no food, and everything was in like a turmoil. The guards left, the police came, the state, from the town police came to watch us. And we couldn't go to the bathroom by ourselves. We had to go with groups to go to the bathroom, yeah. And we were liberated Saturday afternoon. A soldier came in on a jeep. He had the machine gun on top of like an artillery on a circle. And he came in, and that was it. And the Russians started to take revenge. So whoever had koyach, you know what koyach is?
Yes.
Whoever had koyach to do it, because we were just. But that I was liberated, and then you say, where do I go from here? So I slept another night in that camp. And in the morning I started walking. The soldiers were set up like every so, and we kept going. So we kept going. There was 15 miles from the camp to Linz, where they tell us to go. That's when you went into that bomb shelter. So.
But you knew you were free. Did you? And you felt free.
What?
You knew you were free.
I knew I was free, sure.
Now, when you were in the DP camps, you already knew, you were like teenagers then.
Teenagers?
You were like, no, but I mean not age-wise. You didn't feel, was it a time for you to recuperate?
Did I what?
Was it a time for you to recuperate?
To recuperate? Well, the first thing that I tried to do once I get to Bindemichel, I went with Mori Pantira, we went back to Poland to see if anybody is left. And that took a good week, because the rails were bombed out. We had to hitchhike, a truck, whatever we could. And at that time, somehow, there was a fellow there who knew us, who knew from Krakow. And he had his brother was a soldier in the Polish army. You get me? Paul Jarmir, he told us, I'm going to tell my, whoever it is going with you. Because you have to be afraid of the Polacks, they can kill you.
Yeah.
And that was a good thing he gave us, because we went on the train, wherever we went, he was with us. So we didn't spend too much time. We went to the Kuhl, you know, the Kuhl is?
Yeah. No.
At the Kuhl is the Jewish city hall
Oh,
in
okay.
Krakow. The Jewish city hall, we went to look if they know anything. You know, people are writing in the walls, this one looking for that one. And then the next day, I don't remember where we slept that night. We slept someplace. And I knew where my father, where my parents and my aunt, my wife's, my mother's sister, we buried in the house. And I did it, you know, I opened up the floor and I took whatever valuables, I put it in there. It was, you know, valuables you could talk, you know, like material for clothing. And I put it there and I closed it up. And the first thing I wanted to go there see if it's there. So I went there with the soldier. I got to take this out, but it wasn't much of value. I took it and I saved some pieces today as leftover. And there was a watch there, so I sold the watch because I had to have something to do. But anyway, this was, that was the way life was. You know. Yeah, so I came back. I was glad I came back because I know the stations, even with the Americans, they had to go from here to there. DDT, you know what DDT was?
No, tell me.
The spray.
Yeah.
Put spray all over you, spray you. DDT is the name, whatever that means. But I remember you went through the bridges, you know, in Krakow. They were standing there, DDT. You know. And we were walking with them, walking here, walk there, look for somebody. We came to my house. The janitor told me, nobody came to look for you. I came to the car, nobody came to look for you. So we saw there's no use. He went to his home. There was no use to be here, so we went back.
Now, in Bina Michel, you met your wife. You had a friend named Mari Pontier.
Right.
Who were you close with that later in America you also were close with?
I was with the two brothers, Werner brothers, but they're gone. They had a farm in Lakewood.
Okay.
So we used to go there Sundays with the kids to the farm.
Okay. Who else were you close to?
But we stick with the survivors.
Yes.
Everything was survived. There was two oral because they, you know, we came and nobody asked us why you came.
To America, you mean?
I mean, to America.
Yeah.
Why you came? Where'd you came from? How did you come? Who you come with? You know, nobody asked. Nobody asked for about 2 years. Nobody wanted to know what we were, how we come here. We were the refugees. You know that?
Yes.
You know we were the refugees?
Yes.
The refugees are the greeners. That's what we call it. To this day, a greener.
Did that bother you?
No.
No, you didn't care.
No.
Oh, okay, now we'll go back to. Sorry to keep doing this. So you went back from you looked in Krakow, you found out what you found out, and then you went back to the camp.
That's right.
The camp felt like home,
The camp was home.
and the people in the camp were Were they friends? Were they family? Were they fellow survivors?
Fellow survivors and friends. You know, you meet friends in the street, you meet friends. Where are you from? Where are you from? How did you get here? Where were you? Where were you came? That's all.
Did it make a difference to you if somebody was from Czechoslovakia, Hungary? Did it make it?
No, none whatsoever.
None whatsoever. Did it make a difference to you if they came from a rich family, poor family? Or is there a, in other words, in the camp, were people...
If he would tell me came from a big rabbi, a descendant, maybe I would pay attention. Maybe.
So, okay. But in the camp, were people broken down by country or by...
Broken down.
In other words, no, but did anybody care what country anybody came from? And did anybody care if somebody before the war was rich or poor? Didn't matter.
No, we didn't go that deep. We didn't go that deep.
How about...
Not me anyway. But yeah, I was
And not you
I
and...
was a very child. I was a child. I was just.
You were like a
I
child.
was just past bar mitzvah, past, not even bar mitzvah, past bar mitzvah. Hitler got me. Do you understand?
Sure.
So it's not like here. Here, you know, a bar mitzvah boy is already, you know, thinks how to drive a car. Yeah. But,
And one more question. Did it matter to you, if you can remember, how religious someone was or not?
How what?
How religious?
No.
So none of it mattered.
None of it mattered.
So
None of it mattered.
you would talk to anybody who would talk to you.
Who would talk to me?
You would talk to anybody in the
Anybody,
camp
no problem.
who would
There's
talk
no
to you.
such thing. To this day, nobody. Doesn't bother me.
It doesn't bother you.
Absolutely.
Do you think that it has something to do with having been a survivor?
But what?
Do you think you talk to anybody because you were a survivor?
No,
It's just how you grew up.
no. Here in America, they love to talk to me. You know, they love to talk to me. But only, you know, I know they read my book. So it's. I'll show you. I still get mail. I get.
Save that mail.
Sure, it's all catalogued. If I told you what I have, you wouldn't believe your
I
eyes.
believe you.
No, and I'll show you.
Yes.
I'll show you that.
Oh,
I have a full house of
Good.
everything.
good. I want to see. Now, when there were, who was the police in this camp? You had mentioned before there were policemen. Who were they Jewish?
Of course,
They
part
were-
of the survivors.
Oh,
We had
okay.
a mayor.
Oh, it was a Jewish mayor.
A Jewish mayor.
So who
one of
made
the survivors was a mayor.
Did you elect this mayor, or did they volunteer?
No, he was a gentleman. They were they were older than us.
They volunteered?
Of course.
Oh, okay.
He was a yichus maybe before the war because some of them were his landsmen.
Yeah.
So you know,
Did you care?
his name, he's not again. His name was Simcha Meyer, so we called him Stasiu Marian.
What does that mean?
Stasiu Marian, Polish.
Yeah.
In Polish, Stasiu Marian.
Okay.
See, I remember the name, you know,
Okay.
I remember that because he was the mayor, you know, so he had that position.
Okay.
That position.
And people would volunteer to be the police.
Sure.
And were they your just security for the
Just
security for the camp.
Just for the camp.
So you had the police, you had a mayor.
They were the different police than we had in concentration camp.
Oh, sure.
In other words, you know, they were not the type of Jews that we were. In other words, they were no good. They were no good
In the camps, in the concentration camps. These were just security for Bindermichel.
They were just people who were friends of the BMO.
Okay,
Yeah,
like a job.
A job, that's all.
And they may have gotten paid, or you don't know?
Who?
The people who volunteered to be the police.
I have no idea.
Okay.
They must have got
Was there a
something.
school in Bindermichel?
Who?
Was there a school for children, or
School for children? No.
it was?
I don't learn. They were not there. the age of schools, the children.
There were
When they
nobody that
born,
age.
were just infants.
Was there any, the Ort was there to train, but was there any education at all?
Education. I guess if you wanted, you know, they organized an orchestra from the people. We had a few thousand
Right.
people there, you know. Everybody was something.
So
Organized an orchestra.
you showed me a picture of a celebration of 1 year of being in Bindermichel. Who would organize something like this? Somebody in the camp.
Somebody.
And all those signs saying how many died in Poland, how many died in
Right,
Czechoslovakia.
somebody did that.
So somebody from the camp did this.
Of course.
That was a huge number of people. So this was a very well organized.
Yeah, it was a regular town. A regular organization.
Did this event happen in Linz or in Bindermichel?
Well, Linz is the town.
The-
Geneva was 4 miles from Linz. Linz is a very big city, just
No.
like Vienna.
But did the event happen that I saw in the picture? Did that happen
In Linz, in Bindermichel.
Oh, it happened in
And
Bindermichel.
not, you know, in Linz.
Okay.
Bindermichel.
How did the people in Linz treat the people from Bindermichel?
How did the people from Linz,
How did the Austrians treat you?
who?
The Austrians treat
The
the
Austrians.
Jews.
We did not, we
Did they
didn't-
ignore
we-
you?
There was no connection at all.
They just ignored you.
They ignored us, we ignored them. You know, you know, we had no business with them really.
Did you ever have any interactions with German POWs after the war?
With what?
German prisoners of war?
Yeah, I had a German who really helped me out in the concentration camp. I put him in the book.
This is from Bindermichel? No. Did you have any interactions when you were in Bindermichel
Yeah,
with German prisoners of war?
I didn't meet prisoners of war, but I had a German in Gusen.
That's during the war.
Not in Gusen, you see, this is the whole thing. This is different. Before Hitler got me, I was in a camp. You know, they made a camp. So there was a German there who
Was kind.
was a driver, a truck driver. And befriended me in Murray, you know. And I had a chance to go with him back to the house. I'm talking about that before.
This is
that's
before liberation.
Before Bindermichel.
Yeah.
That was already the war. So he had a chance to go with him home, and everything. First one, my father was a hat maker. He had all this material laying home, you know. So, and I knew the people who bought this material, and somehow I got the address, and he sent it away to them, and they sent me money for that. You know, that was the early days of the concentration camps, you know. So he took it to me, and he helped me out at that time. I took all the silver, the candelabras and everything, and I gave it to him. And after he gave me his address, and it stuck in my head, because I didn't write it down, till after liberation. After liberation, he was still prisoner of war, you know. That was when I was ready to go to America. That was when I was in Linz, ready to go to America. They took me to Munich, to Germany. They took the people who were going to America to another camp in Munich, a DP camp. And that time I got in touch with him. You know, I saw him, he came, he saw the baby, he was so happy to see the baby. Anyway, I gave him everything, and I came to his home. I saw the silver, but I didn't take it. All I took was a cup, two cups, two silver cups. I said, you give me that, and you can have everything. We even had a Sefer Torah, so I was so naive about the Sefer Torah. I took another Jew, another guy, he was a frum guy, take with me, and I said, he's that Sefer Torah. I says, you can, if you want it, I'll show you where it is. So he went, he gave him $50, and he brought the Sefer Torah here. The Sefer Torah isn't in America, you know. But I didn't want it because I took it's too holy for me to handle it. You know. Right now I have a Sefer Torah in my house. Anyway, that was the life. What can I tell you? That was. I can talk with you till tomorrow morning, and I wouldn't be finished.
Believe me, I know.
Because everything gets entangled, you know, one into the other.
Yes.
And that's all. What else?
Okay. When you were, did you know any of the people that were in Salzburg?
Auschwitz?
No, Salzburg. In the DP camp in Salzburg. Did you know anyone?
Salzburg?
Yeah.
Yes.
Who did you know from Salzburg?
I know from Salzburg. I know Peter Zeil. I know you know it about Peter Zeil.
You tell me.
Yeah, Peter Zeil.
Which one?
They died. It's only
It's-
the women. The women are still here.
Who did you know? Which one did you know?
Both of them.
Both
two
brothers?
Both of them I know.
Now, how did you meet them? Just in the camp.
Yeah.
And then when did you meet them again? You met them in the camp, and then
No, I met them here.
you met.
In America I met them again.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you meet them in America again? At a bar mitzvah in the country?
Probably at a bar mitzvah or a function.
Okay, who else did you know from?
One died very early, very young.
Yes.
One died very young. And the other one just died not long ago.
Do you remember their first names?
Pinchas.
Pinchas.
One was Pinchas. And the other one.
I don't remember the names. Yes, but I do know there were two brothers.
The two.
I just spoke to Esther yesterday.
Esther Peters.
I'm going to see her next week.
Sure.
Next week.
I used to come there. I used to, you know.
I'm going to Long Island.
Okay.
Did you know anyone else from South? Did you know other people at other DP camps or just the ones in Austria?
From other.
DP camps.
Yes.
Did you only know people from the Austrian camps?
I only know people. Maybe there was Wegscheid.
What is Wegscheid?
Next to Bindemichel was Wegscheid.
Who did you know at Wegscheid?
I know my aunt. They wound up in Russia. You know, when Hitler came.
Yes.
You know, Poland was divided. One half took Russia, one half took Hitler. And they were in the Russian side. So they wound up there and they wound up Siberia. But Siberia is not Siberia that everything is ice.
Right.
Siberia is a state.
Yes.
And they had little towns that they lived in Siberia. You understand? People get scared. Say, Siberia. You were in Siberia, but it's not the same. Siberia was a state, just like New Jersey is a state.
Okay.
And there's hillside, there's this, and then some of them lived not far from each other, you know. So they wound up in Siberia there, and after liberation, they let them out. Russia let them out, and they came to Wegscheid.
Can you spell Wegscheid?
I think Wegscheid would be either with a V or a V-E-G, Wegscheid, S-C-H, something like that, with a D, Wegscheid.
Okay. So you visited them in this?
Now, they came to visit me.
And this was your aunt and uncle, so they both
That was
survived.
aunt and uncle, yeah. That's how I got the picture. It was just on my book. Yeah, with the page.
How did you find out they were alive?
That they were,
Alive.
I didn't know. They came to Bindem Michel and one day they stood outside.
So this was a
Here
surprise.
we are.
Oh my God.
No, but there was no communication, telephone.
No, no, of course.
Nothing.
All right, so now let's
I have
go.
to understand that.
Now, did Maury Pontier get married before you?
Murray,
Yeah.
I don't remember either before me, maybe after me, but soon.
So tell me about your wedding.
My wedding, I'll show it to you.
No, first tell me.
me.
Well, no, first tell me.
We had a beautiful wedding. What can I tell you?
Tell me what you remember.
Murray
first.
was my waiter. It was in my apartment.
Okay.
You know, I told you we had 3 rooms
Yes.
in the old publisher. It was on the way, but the chuppah was outside.
Okay.
Outside. And the rabbi was there, the rabbi.
Because we'll look through one, on the second session, we're going to go through the photographs. So, were people from the camp invited to come to the wedding?
I invited people. I
You-
made an invitation in Yiddish.
Did you?
Yeah, you'll see it if you want to see it.
I will, okay.
I'll show you. I have a DVD.
Oh,
Yeah, somebody made me a DVD. That is not complete, but it's very good.
of your wedding.
Of my wedding.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Because one of the pictures I show you in the album, he had a photograph. What do you call it? He had a camera. He had a camera, and he made it for a living between the people
You mean in the camp?
in the camp in Bindem Michel.
Okay.
Bindem Michel. How he got but he was the photographer. So he took pictures of my wedding. And before I left, I asked him, Yannick, would you sell me the film, the negative? He said, sure. I said, well. So he sold me the negative. I brought it here. I didn't do nothing with it. On my 25th wedding, and it was after my daughter got married, my 2 daughters got married, I went to the same photographer. I says, they all have albums. I should have one too.
Oh, that's
And
great.
and he developed it. He made me an album. I'll show you my album.
Is that album on a DVD?
That's on the DVD, right?
Can I get a copy of the DVD?
Maybe, I don't know. I'll show it to you. First I'll show it to you. I'll do you. You'll talk to me again and I'll give you everything you need. I'll show you what I have. You'll find it here.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Funny. And so tell me about the DVD. What kind of, tell me the DVD. So what, you had a chuppah, and you sent out invitations. Was it to everybody in the camp or only certain people?
Certain people, I think it's certain people, wasn't everybody? Everybody knew there's a wedding, you know, it's like...
If people came.
people come
So
to-
what kind of food did you serve at this wedding?
That's a good question, I don't know.
Your wife will know.
Maybe she would know, maybe. I don't know what to serve. I know that Maury was my waiter.
Okay. And he took care of everything.
Yeah.
And
We had music.
you had
We were
music.
dancing. We were dancing. What is his name?
The horror?
No, the guy who got killed. Band leader. Then in the mood, he made this.
Oh, Jimmy Stewart.
Not Jimmy Stewart. No, not Jimmy Stewart. You know who I'm talking about. He was a pilot in the World War II. He got shot down.
All right.
It'll get to me.
It'll come to me too. But I love that swing music.
That's the swing music.
Yeah.
That was
Benny.
Benny Goodman was
Benny.
another guy.
Oh.
Was a clarinetist. But he was.
We're in that. It's in that era.
Hmm? Yeah, he got-
So you had a wonderful wedding.
Yeah, it was
so-
a good wedding.
Now, did you have a baby while you were in the camp?
Had a baby, yeah, sure, I had a baby.
And you had a girl or a boy?
A daughter.
You had a daughter. When you have a daughter, did you have a celebration of this daughter?
There, I don't think so. Maybe we called a few people. I'll show. I have pictures of that. We could called a few people. We served something.
Were there a lot of children born in Linz? My mother doesn't remember.
Right.
My mother doesn't remember
Many children born.
a lot of children
I
being born.
I'll tell you next door. Next door was
Salzburg, a lot of.
no, not Salzburg. Salzburg's a different town.
Yeah.
You know that?
Yes, I do.
Yes, that's a couple hours by train.
Yeah. Linz, when I say Binder Michel, I mean Linz also. In other words, were there a lot of children born in the Linz hospital?
In the hospital.
For people from Binder Michel?
Well, my daughter was born in the hospital, and maybe another one from Wintermichel was born there, maybe. You know, we don't.
Where were you when the state of Israel was declared a state?
Just in the streets.
In the streets of Binder Michel? You knew the vote was coming.
What?
You knew that it was being voted on.
Yeah, sure, sure. We know about that. I mean, no, we weren't too. I wasn't too baked into it, you know.
Okay.
You know.
So, when you found out Israel was a state,
Yeah.
what were your feelings?
Well, I never wanted to go to Israel, so that was the.
So your reaction was what?
It was very nice, very good. I mean, because a lot of people went. You know, they came there and they solicited. You know.
What was the reaction?
Bricha came.
What was the reaction of other people in Binder Michel?
I guess it was a joyous reaction. Sure, it was a joyous reaction.
Now, people from Binder Michel marched to Linz.
Right.
Did you participate?
Marched for Linz, you mean?
From Binder Michel to
I mean,
Linz.
but that was not for the state. That was not for the state of Israel.
Some people have said it was for the state.
For the state. I only remember this because I got pictures of it. This was the 1 year of liberation.
They marched also. They marched for liberation.
They marched somewhere. They marched, you know, for the liberation.
You remember a march for liberation.
Yes. I don't remember the march for the state.
You remember a march for liberation.
Right.
And what was that like?
Just people was marching and the signs. And probably somebody spoke there. I don't know who spoke. You know, whoever wants to be a macher probably spoke. I'm sure the mayor spoke.
Our friend the mayor.
The mayor
Yes.
from the Bildermech, the mayor.
Now the march would have been May,
Right.
and Israel's independence would
It's
have been
May.
about the same time.
Right.
Could the two have been the same? Could the marches have been?
Maybe. I really have no preferences, whatever it was.
Now Linz was the town where Hitler was born.
What?
Linz was the town where Hitler was born.
Yeah, right.
So Jews marching into Linz.
Right.
Did that have? Do you remember whether that had any impact? You're
Absolutely
smiling.
not. Absolutely.
You don't think it had any impact?
They talk like from today, but you have to still go back 65 years. You understand? You have to go back who you're talking to, who you're talking with, you know.
I'm not saying that. I would imagine you didn't care. The Jewish kids didn't care.
My head, everything that I did, it was why. Do you understand?
Sure. But you didn't get any sense there was hostility.
No.
Okay. Now, once you got married, did you have your own apartment with your wife?
My own apartment.
Once you got married,
Yeah, once you got married,
you lived in your own apartment.
The other kid had to move out.
Okay. So now you shared an apartment with your wife. Maury Patir shared an apartment with his wife. The camp, did the DP camp start changing from being boy, boy, girl, girl to a lot of young couples now?
That did not, that, that I didn't see that much because it was very short time to go to America.
Did people start, were people trying to leave to go to Israel? Were people trying to leave to go to Israel?
Oh yeah,
And what happened?
definitely. The only thing I went to America because my wife's mother had 3 sisters here.
So you started work, when did you start to work to go to America?
To
When were you starting to work to go to America?
oh, maybe a couple, right away, about a year, a couple of years.
Okay.
This started, maybe you remember that, that's what he told me. Truman got through Congress a doctrine to let in 200,000 refugees. And that was the quota. That's what everybody started to register.
Okay, I want to backtrack. When you were talking with each other in the DP camps, I'm talking between the 4 years you were there, did you tend to talk a lot about the war and where you were and what camps you were in? What were your conversations like? When you were there, between 44 and 49, didn't talk about the camps?
Absolutely.
What were you more
Went
talking?
out of our mind, my mind anyway.
What does that mean?
It went out of my mind. I'd never talked about it. The camp was 4 miles to go to Gusen.
And you never talked about Guza.
I never went back to take a look where I was. Never went back. Okay. I went back about 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I went back. I was in Mauthausen. I was in Gusen.
Now, but not then. So during the 4 years that you were there, the kinds of
Never went into my mind. Let me go back see where I was.
you talked about the movies, the future.
Movies, dancing at night, with my future, whatever.
At what point, or was there a point where you knew you just want to rebuild your life?
Rebuild my life. That was about a year later. I start seeing that there must be something else in the world at this place.
Okay.
So then I started to see what's going on.
And
Find out. You see, people came. A lot of people came. A lot of people came. A lot of people came to see.
who
To see what
who you were?
not who I was. They wanted to see this whole establishment that the Jews sitting in here. Understand? People wanted to see what Hitler did. So it was always traffic. Always traffic.
You mean like reporters?
What?
Reporters or government people?
No, not government people. Tourists, like tourists, like I went back to Poland now, you understand, to see where I was, to imagine. And then there was, there was a lot of people came who had who wanted to adopt
Adopted Jew?
Adopt the kids, yeah, they came. They wanted to adopt me to Panama. Came a couple.
Really?
To Panama.
This is before you were married.
Before I was married, of course.
And what happened?
They wanted to take me. But I said, I'm not going because I'm going to America. I'm not going to Panama.
Did that happen a lot?
Huh?
Was
that
that
happens a lot, sure.
really?
Sure.
Did people go with
Rich people, yeah, sure.
Were these Jews that came, or were they Jews that came?
Jews that came, sure.
And did people go with them?
Oh yeah, absolutely, sure. They went with them.
So some people went with people from Panama.
Yeah. Some people went with people in drama, there's no question about it, sure.
That's a new one on me.
Yeah, right.
Um,
Here it is, you know. You
Now,
got,
in retrospect, how important was the DP camp, do you think, in your life?
the DP camp, how important. It was just an
Did you ever-
outlet. It was just an outlet to go somewhere.
Do you think the friendships were important?
What?
Do you think the people you met there were important?
The people that they met
That you met there?
there, well, but a lot of them we were in touch.
Well, let me ask you this. If the war had ended
Yeah,
and you were liberated
yeah.
and you ended up just going to either America or Palestine,
Right,
and there had never been a DP camp,
right.
you think life would have been different?
I don't think so. It was just a home, a place to go to put your put your head down. That's always it was.
It was a home, but you don't think it was a significant home?
No, of course. Well, it was nothing yet, you know.
It's okay, I'm just curious. Some people say yes, some people say no. Either way is okay. From your hometown, who survived?
Who survived from my hometown? Well, Murray survived. His uncle survived. His other uncle survived. Some people survived.
When did you start feeling comfortable talking about the war?
Oh, that took a long time. That took a long time. I started to write the book 36 years after my marriage.
Okay.
I started to write the book.
So during the war you focused on survival. When you were liberated, you felt free. When you were in the DP camps,
I felt free.
you felt free and you did what you felt like doing. And 36 years later, you started to write a book. Is that accurate, what I just said?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Now you got married, you had a baby, and then you worked on getting to America. How did you get to America?
I just told you.
By plane, by boat?
By plane.
Because you had a child. Okay. You come to America. Where was the first place you lived?
I lived in Passaic. Because one of my mother-in-law's sisters lived in Passaic. So she was the poorest one. She took us in.
So you lived with someone.
With them just 3 days.
Okay,
It
then.
was Shavuos. It was the holiday Shavuos.
Right.
Over Shavuos is too, because they prepared an apartment. They rented an apartment, you know,
And where'd you go after that 3 days?
to the apartment.
To the apartment. And what did you do for work?
What I do for work? I didn't do nothing for about 3-4 months. I didn't
And
do nothing.
and then what?
And then I went to a clock factory. I made bottoms for ladies' coats. You know,
Okay.
the bottoms,
Like a hem?
the hem, yeah.
Did you come to the country with any money?
I go without any money, sure.
Without
My
any money?
father-in-law had some money, so.
You were able to live because he had a little bit of
right,
money.
right.
Okay. So you made hems. How long did you do that for?
How long did you do that for? Not long. Not long, maybe 6 months.
And this is 1949.
It's in 1949.
What happened
1949, because in 1950 I incorporated.
into
I
what?
became a builder.
You became a builder. How did that happen?
Maury, with his uncle, and became a builder.
And did you know anything about building?
I did not know anything about building. I was a yeshiva boy.
And did Maury know anything about building?
No, somehow we had a lot of friends, Goyim friends. You wouldn't believe that.
Sure, I
Hard
would
to
believe it.
The Bakias just gave us money just like that.
Yeah?
Whatever we needed.
Why do you think they did that?
Huh?
Why did they do that?
I guess they thought that Jews have horns. I thought. That's right. You have to understand that. Do you understand?
They were scared of you?
Well, no.
They thought you were...
They say, see the young people, they workers and everything. Well, let's take a chance.
Oh, okay. So did you buy...
And we made them rich.
Yeah?
We made the bankiers rich.
So you bought a piece of property,
Right.
and who taught you what to do?
Well, in the way you feel your way. People get to know you. People try to help you a little bit,
Yeah.
and that's what happened.
Now, in the course of doing...
I was selling a house for $10,300. You couldn't sell it
Yeah.
because it was the exact time as it is here today. Was a depression in the country. It was right after the
1950.
depression.
Okay.
Right after World War II,
Right.
people had no money. The government gave them everything like they do today with the stimulus,
Yeah.
but they wouldn't take it.
So what'd you do?
They wouldn't take it. Well, it took time. It took time. We weren't such needed then than we are today, you know.
Right.
The need was not so great what it is today. It was a need, you know. I had a baby, I had a wife with a baby, but somehow.
So you became a builder. Now, did you, at this point, were you friends with other survivors? Did other survivors live in New Jersey?
We were still friends, of course.
So who...
I built a house before that. I built 54, I built already a house, my own house. 1954.
In Passaic?
Hillside.
In Hillside, okay. In the 50s, you were building... Who were your friends that were survivors?
Right.
No, who were your friends that were survivors
Yeah.
in the 50s?
In the 50s was a lot of people.
Give me some names.
Unfortunately, they're gone.
Well,
2 or 3 left, maybe. You know.
but who was then?
Who was then?
Yeah, in the 50s.
There were the Werners and a lot of people.
All right, give me 5 names besides the Werners and Pontier.
Yeah, I still have my daughter's list when she got married, so maybe I'll give you the list. I hope I have the
1950s
list.
daughter's list. Okay, yeah, that would be good.
Yeah,
So her marriage.
yeah.
Okay. Did you do anything in the summers, the summertime?
Yes.
Did you go?
No, most in the beginning, what we did, we used to go to the beach, Bradley Beach.
Did you go with people, or with
Yes.
just your
Most
family?
of the time was with Maury.
Just Maury's family and your family.
But we went, my wife went, in the beginning she went to California with the children, to her sister,
Okay.
to Los Angeles. And I used to come there to visit, for the summer.
Right. So that's what you did in the summer times. Now, as you became successful, I assume you became successful as a builder, were you helping other survivors get into the building business?
What?
Did other survivors try to get into...
They all followed me.
Okay. So did the circle grow of Jewish guys getting into the building business? So what I'm going to do is you're going to give me... The important part of this study is to see who... If I was to look at a table of a bar mitzvah album, you have 4 sons.
Yes.
And if I were to look at the tables from that bar mitzvah album,
Yes.
would I see survivors?
My sons? No. Let's see Maury, my son. You'll see maybe a couple more, a couple of builders, which became friends here, but you know, from the camps.
Who would I see from the camps? So who came to your son's bar mitzvahs?
To my son's bar mitzvah. I have a list. I came,
But not
not
survivors.
survivors.
So who are you close
Not
to?
even not even other people. You know, we had our own clique. We didn't mix too much with
So who's in your clique?
who they
Who's in your clique?
my clique. They're people. You know,
Are they Americans or are they survivors?
no, not even American survivors, but they're not here.
You mean they've died?
They died. They died.
No, but I'm trying to figure out if they're survivors, are they people you knew from DP camp or are they people you knew from your hometown?
Maybe it's
From which?
I'll tell you, if I go over the list, I'll give you it. I have the list, I have all these things.
So you'll give it to me. Okay.
We went to a wedding this weekend, you know. Went to a wedding, so one table was 6 people.
And who is that?
So there were 2 of us, me and my wife. Then it was Wilf and his wife, and it was Halpern with his wife.
And where do you know Halpern from?
We have some business together.
But did you know him before?
No.
Since? Where do you know Clara from?
Who, Clara? From here.
But you have, so let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Why do you feel comfortable, why did you feel comfortable with Peter Sy?
Why?
Why?
Why did you feel comfortable?
Why did you feel comfortable with the Peter Sy brothers?
I don't know. I used to go there, you know, I used to go to Salzburg, I used to go to Parsh, that's where they lived. There was a Rebbe there. So I used to go there. I used to take the train and go to Salzburg.
And you felt comfortable?
I felt comfortable, yeah. Because Krakow.
You had Krakow.
Krakow.
Did you used to go to the Krakow Society?
Absolutely. I still belong to the Krakow Society.
Did you?
Yeah, I still belong.
Did you go to the meetings in this country?
I used to many years ago. When I was young, we had nothing else to went to the meeting.
So, because they had like an annual dinner, did you
course.
go to that?
I used to go.
Okay, when you were younger.
Right, of course.
Because you felt comfortable?
Yes.
Okay. You felt comfortable around Sam Halpern.
So, sure, of course.
What made you feel comfortable?
He went to the same shul I went, you know, davened together, and we did business together.
Is it also because he's a survivor?
Because he's a survivor? Yeah, well, probably, sure.
And
I wouldn't do that with another business with another person, with an American. Somehow we shared. You understand? We shared. We had something big, so we say you take and I take and that's because we're dealing with a handshake. We have nothing written down, nothing. If I tell you nothing, you can believe me.
I believe you.
Nothing written down. And we have a multi-million-dollar business together, and it's okay.
I understand completely.
Okay?
Well, that's-
You wouldn't find that between Americans. You can only find that between survivors.
That's my point.
Hmm?
That's my point.
Yeah, that's all. You don't find any scandals between survivors. Did you hear any scandals? Hmm? There's no scandal. And we give a lot of money charity, that people don't know. And here in Israel, you know. So,
I'll go off camera.